In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunsets glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. To yours hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, those poppies grow in Flanders fields.
On the Day of Remembrance, I always feel saddened to think about the people that have lost their lives, but also inspired by them, as they have given so much for all us that can now live freely.
Remembrance Day impacts me in a way whereby I have freedoms. I'm able to do things with my friends and my family that perhaps may not have been had things been different.
This is a really important day, and it's an opportunity to remember a good many of my colleagues who unfortunately gave their lives in various conflicts, mainly in Afghanistan.
Remembrance is exceptionally important due to my time serving and many of my colleagues that I've lost during my time serving. After 24 years of service in the RAF, I've gone on. I will normally actually attend Remembrance Parade itself, and this year, obviously being a little bit different due to COVID, we are unable to attend the parade, but I shall be there in spirit along with all my old colleagues.
Remembrance for me, really, I look at it probably from three sides, to be honest. The first side, obviously, taking into account and remembering our fallen through conflict. But I tend to look at it from the family perspective, and I probably didn't do that until I left the forces. But the major sacrifice that our families, when they left at home, I didn't really think about that when I used to go overseas. So that's certainly been brought to the forefront since leaving the services. But secondly, having guys that are still suffering post-conflict, guys that are suffering from PTSD, taking their own lives. So they've dragged all that with them back from whatever operations that they've been in.
I've been a cadet for 4 years, and every year I'm on parade in my local town for Remembrance Day. It means a lot to me because I can reflect on the men and women that have given their lives in order for me to live freely and do things that I don't necessarily think about all the time, like spending time with my family and being able to go to work without having to worry.
The wreath itself, when laid, is very symbolic to me. Unfortunately, I've had to attend services of soldiers, etc., that have died in conflict. So it's very poignant when that is actually placed to rest.
The biggest thing I would say is most conflict comes from people reacting, and it's that immediate reaction. The one thing I would say and putting out there to all the college students is actually think about your actions. Take time to reflect and don't automatically just have that immediate knee-jerk reaction. Give yourself time to think, step away from it, keep yourself calm, and then actually think about the best way to move forward.
Wreath party. Inwards, 10. Stand at ease.
Remembrance Sunday, which falls on the 8th of November 2020 this year, is a day for the nation to remember and honour those who have sacrificed themselves to secure and protect our freedom. During the First World War, 1914 to 1918, much of the fighting took place over Western Europe. Previously beautiful countryside was blasted, bombed, and fought over again and again. The landscape swiftly turned to fields of mud, bleak and barren scenes where little or nothing could grow. Bright red Flanders poppies, however, were delicate but resilient flowers and grew in their thousands, flourishing even in the middle of chaos and destruction. In early May 1915, shortly after losing a friend in Ypres, a Canadian doctor, Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, was inspired by the sight of poppies to write a now famous poem called In Flanders Fields. That poem will now be read by Macy Ladd.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders field. Take our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw, the torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. We'll now have Lee Mallet read the Ben Whatley eulogy.
Ben Whatley was a former uniformed public services student. He came from Fakenham in Norfolk, and his boyhood ambition was to join the Royal Marines. But sadly, he was killed in action on Christmas Eve 2008, and he was 20 years old. I'm just going to read a citation from his commanding officer. Major Rich Cantrell, Royal Marines, Officer Commanding Lima Company, 4-2 Commander, Royal Marines said, Lance Corporal Ben Whatley was a tough, uncompromising commando, and his loss leaves a huge void in the hearts and minds of the men of Lima Company. Promoted just prior to his Afghanistan deployment, his advancement was richly deserved, and it was my pleasure to see him calm delight. He almost smiled when the commanding officer handed him his badge of rank. Tall, with a booming baritone voice, Ben Whatley had an abundance, that magic ingredients of presence. Every inch a Royal Marine, he was a natural choice to fill a section second in command appointment. A veteran of Afghanistan, Ben knew how to fight, and I saw him with my own eyes during the Battle of Zargham Kali, winning the firefight against tough insurgent opposition. This is what Ben was doing when he was killed, fighting from the front for his friends, for his team, for his company. We will all miss Ben and the chance to watch him fulfill his tremendous promise. Yet I will remember him as an ever young commando, a fighter, a man's man, a Royal Marine to the core.
Race party, shoot!
They shall not grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. We will now observe the 2-minute silence. Okay, that 2 minutes is now up. When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow, we gave our today. Thank you to all of those that attended our service. Please enjoy the rest of your day.
Bent double, like old beggars under sacks, knock-kneed, coughing like hags, we cursed through sludge, till on the haunting flares we turned our backs, and towards our distant rest began to trudge. Men marched asleep. Many had lost their boots, but limped on, bloodshot. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue, deaf even to the hoots of gas shells dropping softly behind. Gas! Gas! Quick, boys! An ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time. But someone still was yelling out, and stumbling and floundering like a man in fire or lime. Dim through the misty panes and thick green light, as under a green sea, I saw him drowning. In all my dreams, before my helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. If, in some smothering dreams, you too could pace behind a wagon that we flung him in, and watch the white eyes writhing in his hanging face, like a devil's sick of sin. If you could hear, at every jolt, the blood come gargling from the froth-corrupted lungs, obscene as cancer, bitter as the cud of vile, incurable sores on innocent tongues. My friend, you would not tell with such high zest, to children ardent for some desperate glory, the old lie. Dulce et decorum est, pro patria mori.